and welcome to this edition of the Policy Bazaar show. Today I bring you face to face with Vibha Padalkar, one of the most dynamic industry leaders of the insurance sector. She is the Managing Director and CEO of HDFC Life Insurance, and we are going to talk about everything you need to know about insurance. So join me.
I've been associated with the insurance industry for over a decade. In fact, I will be completing 11 years in just a couple of days' time. When I joined the industry, it was such a young industry that the only way forward was in terms of growth. Almost delivering a company that we had nurtured for so long into the big world to now sail on its own. So it was a great feeling. It was a moment of truth for us. I'm also often asked this question as to how is it that I've survived and thrived in this world as a woman leader. My mother was my role model. She was a 1964 batch IAS officer, and subconsciously for me, I think I just saw how she dealt with the balance between family and work. I do believe that women, especially in the corporate world or anywhere else in India, do require advocates, and they also require role models.
Hi Vibha, how are you? It's been a long time since we met.
All good. Thank you so much for meeting.
Nice rainy morning in your city.
Yes.
And I think it's a good time to talk about insurance, something you've lived and breathed now for over 10 years. And there's a lot that we need to talk about today for our viewers. And so let's get started.
Thank you.
Vibha, you know, in my generation at least, they used to always say that insurance is never bought by anyone. It's sold. You just didn't go out and buy insurance in the belief that, you know, something could happen to you and what's going to happen to your family, your near and dear ones. You've seen this industry evolve, especially, you know, after the coming in of the life insurance private players, and a lot of innovation happened. Do you see the mindset changing where people today are far more aware about wanting to take insurance because it's something that protects them and their family?
Yes, quite a bit. And that, you know, mindset is in several ways. There is a more senior citizen category, and then there are the millennials on the other side. There are people who are in cities, the urban middle class, and then there are people who are emerging and getting into slightly higher levels of prosperity. And so we need to have different levels of awareness with different people. So let's take the first category, us probably, and perhaps our parents, wherein yes, there is still a little bit of overhang to say that do I really need it? Is it waste of money? It's very painful, etc. But even they, especially in the third part of protection, so you have longevity protection, you have mortality, you have morbidity, and longevity is really the fear of living to or outliving one's savings. That is beginning to percolate, because in all our families we do have our loved ones who are easily 80 and above in very good health. So with better healthcare facilities, people easily outlive their retirement age by 20-25 years, and given where inflation is, maybe 4-5%, but nevertheless, net of inflation savings is low single digits. That is beginning to sink in, that how do I transfer some of this risk to an insurance company. So slowly but surely we're finding something like an annuities, which is again pure risk. Transfer it to an insurance company so that you can live your golden years happily. So pay one lump sum, get a fixed rupee amount which an insurance company can't reprice. That is again sinking in. And given where interest rates are likely to keep falling, so maybe in 10 years time when we are definitely retired, it's very possible that what we earn today, you're not going to be earning later. So that's one segment. Let's talk about the millennials. With the millennials, it's becoming increasingly a pull product, especially again protection, and also beginning to save early. Also, given the fact that what's happened say on unit-linked products, millennials are beginning to understand when they compare that the IRRs, especially when you get closer to the lock-in period and getting out of the lock-in period of 5 years, the IRRs start getting better than any other competing asset class. On top of it, there's a risk cover, there is ease of onboarding. If they were to buy online, which is what typically a millennial would do, there's easily a 5% delta, for example, certainly with HDFC Life. So these nuances are seeping in. So it's no longer the old feeling, either exactly like you said, that it's a push product, or it's very onerous, it's painful, it's a black box, I have to go for medicals. So we are trying to go where the younger population is, the ecosystems in which they can relate to, that they frequent. And then the third angle is on interior India, and that actually has been helped by the government. So the schemes like PMJJBY, which is the Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, or even Ayushman Bharat, or Atal Pension, those sorts of things augur very well, because in a way the government is becoming an advocate to say insurance zaruri hai. And that's when, if you can tailor make, and that's what we've done, simple products, 500 rupee premium a month kind of a product, simple cover, and we learn, or we also piggyback through a lot of our partners. So we have tied up with most of the small finance banks, and they are the ones who operate in that space. They are the ones who have made inroads in that customer base, which is the Bharat versus the India. So we don't need to solve for how do we get to the last mile, which has always been something that we've been finding it as an industry difficult to solve for. So piggybacking on this relationship, 10 years ago you didn't have, or even 5 years ago, you didn't have the small finance banks in the size that you have today, and they're growing well. So we're piggybacking on that. So it's using very different kinds of products and distribution channels to get to different customer classes. But just to round off your question, what is very evident is that the need for insurance is slowly but surely beginning to turn the wheel to becoming a pull product than being a push product.
Let's look at the whole distribution play, Vibha. You know, you as a company have been very aggressive on the digital side of it. You know, you mentioned onboarding earlier. You said that how it's becoming more convenient to get people, you know, to buy an insurance policy. Is digital and millennial a good combination to explore when it comes to further increasing the penetration of insurance?
I think it's a very formidable combination. In fact, it is almost mandatory that we have to give both the experience as well as the product to a millennial before he's even willing to look at it. We need to be able to touch some nerve that convinces him of the need to buy insurance. And that's why we are, in a meaningful manner, we are one of the early movers in this space. And, you know, frankly, we haven't got it right the first time. One has to keep evolving, understanding better. And the example there is that we launched a great product, but today we are probably version 3 of that product. And reason being that underwriting has to be in a manner which is seamless. We need to be able to use other data points that are available in the public domain or through the likes of, say, CIBIL or are now Aadhaar enabled to say, okay, I have a good sense as to who this customer is, who this youngster is. I know what his digital footprints are, and can I then pay him less in terms of onboarding? And so price no longer is the only differentiator. It is the entire offering from onboarding to the final proof, which is claims. So you have to be one of the lowest in terms of claims repudiation ratio. And millennials do look at all these aspects. We know that because on our online platform itself, we know which pages he spends the most time when he's doing his own fundamental research. And so even before perhaps he buys from any other channel, he has already done a fair amount of fundamental research. So it is important that he's able to quickly connect all the dots to say, yep, it's roughly in the zone on how do I transfer risk. And so innovation plays a key role. Another aspect is for us to have a bouquet, because he also is going through a journey of his own personal situations. And we need to be able to touch him sensibly and be relevant at every stage and not just initial.
Let's talk about health insurance a bit, Vibha, because again, that's an area where you were the pioneer.
Yes.
You know, you came out with these disease-specific products, you know, cancer, heart disease. Again, you know, we were used to talk about a decade back, we were used to these products where, you know, you had the standard Mediclaim. You went round and round trying to get your claim settled, and you came in with this disruption and you said, look, if you're diagnosed with cancer, here, take a check, you know. What are the innovations on that front? Because again, you know, when we talk about millennials, I find that a lot of millennials are very, very interested in making sure they protect their health at an early age, rather than, many of us who waited for a very long time before we bought our health insurance.
So, we had to evolve because trends in India were evolving. And again, HDFC Life looks out for these trends as again just having a plain vanilla that we all do, as an industry do well. And cancer was evolving and being the second biggest cause of mortality in India, especially amongst breast cancer among women. So we tried to solve for this. We worked with reinsurers, we worked with even some of the pharma companies back in time to say, how do we solve for this? Because we were convinced that there has to be ease of onboarding, because any number of tests might not tell you whether the person has a propensity to have cancer down the line or not. So how do we make it easy? And that's exactly what we solved for. So I'm just taking an example of Cancer Care, which was launched entirely digitally through an app. And 6 questions, yes or no, no ambiguity. So end to end, and I bought this product myself, end to end in 4.5 minutes. By the time I'm done, the policy is in my mailbox. Now the variant, and to give an example of innovation, since that was your question, innovation, for example, in the platinum version, which I've bought, which is to recognize that not only is money required on detection of cancer for the immediate medical expenses, but equally importantly is what happens because you're not going to be earning, you're not going to have a job. Also, you might have to travel to a metro. You might be in Aurangabad, you might be in Nashik, you might be in Trichy. So how do you also pay for that? And so 1% of the sum assured is given for every month for the next 5 years. So in this variant, 80 lakhs is the sum assured. So you get 80 lakhs on detection. Very good. That is towards your medical expenses immediate here and now. But you also get 80,000 rupees a month for the next 5 years as a proxy for income benefit. There is no income benefit plan in India.
Right.
And that's where the innovation comes in. People don't realize, and to give a further nuance here, is that with falling interest rates, actually you're locked into very high levels of interest rates, which even today don't exist because we launched this about 5 years back. So actually it's a very high interest rate that one is locked in. Yes, one can say that this is a mortality product, so if I don't contract then I don't get it. Yes, but that's the nature of any protection product. That's insurance. Yeah. But if you were to look at, especially people in the higher risk category, and also what we're finding today is that old myth about do any of your immediate relatives have cancer? That's no longer true, unfortunately, because lifestyle diseases also mean that completely for the first time in the family people get no history gets it. So it's a question of people realizing the need and paying a little bit more attention on a Sunday to figure out, let me find out. They can go online and learn for them. They don't need to have anyone to handhold if there is a sense of disbelief that, okay, I don't really trust this guy. If you require handholding, there is handholding, but you can do ab initio research yourself.
What about term insurance, Vibha? Because again, the pure vanilla insurance, as we call it, not sold enough over a period of time, over the last decade and a half or more, because, simply because low ticket size, therefore low commission, just not sold. And whereas that should have actually been the product sold to the first time insurance buyer. And then you probably graduate onto, investment, health, etc. But that term cover, do you believe and agree that should be the first purchase? If a 25-year-old is listening to you, is that the first purchase that you would recommend, that get yourself a term cover? And how has the term cover business evolved? Because again, one understands that even if you look at a 20-year journey, we've probably come down by 1/4 the costs or the charges for a consumer if you bought the same term cover. So how has that story evolved and evolving?
So to your second point on, is that the first product? No, I would advise a young 25-year-old, unless he has dependent family members, parent, I would say get yourself medical cover first, some of the things that we talked about, and then get on to the term cover, especially 25-year-old, perhaps dad is still working, still taking care of. By the time he gets into the 30 bracket or closer to 30, dad's probably retired or close to retiring, mom Same thing if she's working and he's probably getting married or got married, and it gets into a different phase of life. That's when the term cover absolutely essential on the cusp of being 30. To your question on term, and it's very, very small in uptake, very true. But a decade back when I joined HDFC Life, term was 1% of our business on an unweighted basis. Today, last year FY19, we crossed 28%. So
that's the jump, is it? From 1% to 28%
on an unweighted way. On a weighted basis, about 17-18% last year. And so it's not all despair that people are not understanding it. They're understanding it. We need to solve for a couple of things. One is that we need to be able to innovate on this. And I'll give you an example. Our own term offering, the online term offering that we talked about just now, we first had a plain vanilla version which was under the banner Click to Protect. Today we have a Click to Protect 3D Plus. And what that is, it's like a Swiss Army knife to say, I want to counter every reason why an average Indian won't buy terms. So for example, first one, to say that, okay, nothing's going to happen to me. I would have paid premiums and the insurance company would have made a lot of money. Okay, if you survive X years, I'll give your premiums back. So get that out of the way. Second is that to say, okay, I'm 30 now, say by the time 60, 70, this cover is going to be meaningless if you look at inflation of 4-5%. Okay, then I will give an inflation adjusted return to your nominee. So that is second point. Third, to say it's too expensive. So exactly like you said, we've slashed our rates more than 50% from when we ourselves used to sell offline term, for example. That's the third point. So extremely affordable. And if I were to tell a millennial, for example, it's going to cost you 10 rupees a day or 15, he'll look at me to say, why are we even discussing this? The secret sauce is to start early, because then you lock in at much lower premium levels and the insurance company can't reprice it at all. So that's it, regardless of what is discovered down the line. And fourth aspect is we can slash it even further if we had better ability to underwrite risk. And I'll tell you, because the level of frauds is very significant. We do have organized gangs of frauds and they move from state to state. We know that in Gujarat, in a particular district, we will just not write insurance. But then what happens when we clamp down, it just goes to the next district. We know in Haryana, for example, cancer cases are shown as accident victims. And a lot of news coverage on this. So that is something that whether it's in, how do we clamp down on this? How there is a lot of action that is shown by our police to go after this. That is important. What is also important is that for every medical treatment, now that Aadhaar is at a level that it is, every medical treatment, like for example the NHS in the UK, you cannot get medical treatment unless you have an Aadhaar or a PAN, at least above a certain level. So you cannot have a major illness and you don't have this. So how do we make it mandatory for every citizen of India to have that unique ID? And how is it that an insurance company is given, I don't need access to this, I just need to know, did he have cancer or not, for example, or did he have a life-threatening illness that he knew? If I'm able to do that, I don't want to go after him. That's not the interest. I want to give a discount to the honest guy, because today I'm pricing risk for all sorts of good apples, bad apples, right? So I want to be able to price risk a lot sharper to say, okay, you're an honest guy, you've told me everything, I will give you a 30% discount. You're a guy who's not willing to disclose XYZ things to me, then sorry, but I have to price. So if I have the ability to price it differently, I can make it significant, even cheaper when it's absolutely a non-issue as to why one should buy. And if you look at China, that inflection point has to happen. China is 4x our GDP. And if you look at the penetration levels, they're probably 5 times as much than India is for a lot of senior insurance companies there. So that inflection point has to happen when the average Indian has something in his pocket he's worried of losing. That is important, that it will start becoming an even more of a pull product. I have no doubt in that.
So Vibha, if I look into the future, how do you see insurance penetration rising in this country? Do you see that there will be a time very soon where we'll be talking 40-50% kind of insurance penetration instead of single digit that we've been talking for many, many years? You mentioned about what the government is doing. Is there more that the government can do What else can insurance companies do to enhance? Cost is one part which you all have attacked quite significantly and brought it down, but are there any other aspects, and how do you see the future growth panning out for the insurance sector?
So I'm extremely bullish. The fact that the latent need itself will drive. It's a question of solving for it from a regulatory framework point of view, from an architecture of the product, and also solving for in terms of awareness. Our own as a sector are, if you look at all of it put together, about 2.8%. It used to be much higher, as high as about 4%. And that just means even for as a sector, if we have to get back to those kind of levels, would translate to a growth of easily a CAGR of about 40 to 45%. So that's kind of the math. But the latent need itself, and given the government focus, will at least ensure the third aspect of what I mentioned, which is the awareness aspect. The inflection point will start happening, like I mentioned earlier, when an average Indian is worried about something, is worried about falling sick, worried about, from experience, it pretty much vanquishing his family, and that will drive, and I'm very certain, again taking a leaf of China's books, that that's bound to happen. As far as the government is concerned, I do believe that as far as longevity risk is concerned, about retirement, if they were to give some kind of a carve out from a tax point of view for that, to get people to focus, and all us Indians do love, even if it is a small carve out, even if it's a 10th, we love saving, right? So it will be 100% compliance. So if there is something to say, focus, guys, it is important, because at some point in time, otherwise it will start becoming the government's problem of too many people who don't have any social security, no pension, and I'm talking about other than government employees. It will start becoming the government's problem. So rather tackle it sooner rather than later. And with all of that put together, I have no doubt in my mind that the average Indian will realize from a bottoms-up point of view that insurance is very much a necessity.
It's been wonderful talking to you, Vibha. Thank you very much for coming by and chatting with you. Thank you. All right, that was Vibha Padalkar for you, telling you all about insurance, what you need to buy for yourself first, and how do you go about building your insurance portfolio. Thanks for watching this edition of the Policy Bazaar Show.